Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Comfort Inn. It's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Thank you. Welcome back. We're joined by Governor David Paterson. Governor Paterson stepped into a very difficult situation when he became governor. The fiscal situation in New York State was perilous. And frankly, he took really courageous actions to correct the budget issues, the fiscal issues. And he had to do it by showing leadership and driving the entire state machine that way, including the legislature. Governor Paterson, good to be with you. It's 100 days for the mayor. I have admitted that I may not be wholly objective, as I was a little too close to that situation. But what's your take, Gov? How's he doing after 100 days?
Well, I just want to tell you something about 100 days, Andrew. When I came into office, it was May 17th of 2008. We were somehow passed the budget on April 9th. So in other words, we passed the budget as soon as the legislature realized we'd be there for a long time because they were planning on it. When my 100 days came, which was June 25th, they listed all these things that I didn't do and didn't mention that I got the budget passed only 9 days past the deadline, which nobody had done in 4 years. So that's what I think of 100 days. Now, the mayor is a frightening individual because in some ways he has this way about him that people are they're moved by him. You know, it's not something that I think he works on. I think he naturally can do that. But the thing is, all the time that he is trying to make these changes, we don't really know what the bottom line to his 4 years is going to be and where the city is going to be, because he's not telling anybody. He's sort of cherry picking little topics or little things to do. But way down the line, you know, don't forget where you came from. The last person I hope does forget where he came from is Mamdani, because where he came from was a deep hatred of government and a desire for a few people to control the many.
Yeah. Well, Gov, look, I think you, in many ways, this is what we should have expected, right? He never had any expertise in government. He was never interested in government. He never showed up for votes. He campaigned on slogans: free bus, freeze the rent, universal child care from 6 months. All slogans, all bumper stickers that were never going to happen. And he's still governing that way. But what strikes me most, and which I mentioned before you came on, number one, the divisiveness with the Jewish community. I've never seen a community as alienated.
It's absolutely terrible. If I can just cut in for a second, Governor, I was sent to integrate schools in Hempstead, Long Island, when I was 6-7 years old, when I first went to school. And the schools at that time were segregated. When I went to the district, the only students that would talk to me were Jewish. I never forgot that, and I still know most of them. You know,
Gov, it's painful. 20% of the population alienated. In the city they helped build, right? Jewish community was here very early, late 1600s. So that, and then you have a city that's losing people, losing jobs, record low new job numbers. And rather than saying, I'm going to make New York City safer and cheaper, and I'm going to bring business back, he's doing the exact opposite. He's saying, I'm going to raise every tax you ever heard of. Corporations are bad. Government is going to give everything free. And we're having more people leave and more businesses leave, and he is actually inciting them to leave.
And that's exactly what's happening, and it's got to come to a head at some point. But by the way, while I was listening in before I came on, and we know that I have a rather severe visual problem, but I think I may have a hearing problem. I heard a man who sounded a lot like you say that in the last 2 years, more people have moved to New Jersey and more people have moved to Pennsylvania. Was that it?
Yeah, then Florida, yes.
Then Florida. That is shocking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Florida, everybody wants to say Florida because it's zero income tax. And a lot of people have moved to Florida. But Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, why? It's cold there too, snows there too.
Yeah.
They just want out of New York City. And the taxes are a little bit lower, but not dramatically lower. So, I mean, this is really troubling. And then the job growth, David, on top of that, 0.3% job growth.
I heard that too.
Lowest in 30 years? I mean, look at the arrows, man.
I think also there's an underlying negativity that I sort of feel when I'm out, riding on the subway or just walking through the streets and that kind of thing. That wasn't there 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, I think you're 100% right. Look, you have to go back. You and I are old enough. Riding the subways now for an entire generation, unless you can go back to the 80s, right? Riding the subway is a frightening experience. You see it on people's faces. You see them standing against the wall, walking the streets at night. It's like the old days. It's just frightening. And
absolutely,
you came in, you had that terrible fiscal problem, and you had to do a lot of unpopular things to get the fiscal situation under control. He walks into this situation. He should be encouraging people to stay. I'm going to make it safer. I'm going to make it cheaper. I'm going to bring jobs back. He's doing the exact opposite.
And by the way, how's he going to make it safer when he has tried to stop the SRG that is giving police officers the opportunity to be in the location where the criminals are? If you wanted to do something to a lawyer, you go to his office. If you want to do something with a doctor, you go to the hospital and find him. Why aren't we going to the type of area where that terrible situation happened where the police officer, had to throw that object at the perpetrator? But the fact is that this is the unit that has actually diminished the crime over the last few years.
David, you're 100% right. And then he stops the hiring of the 5,000 additional police, even though we have a record attrition rate, right? He stops the hiring of the 5,000 police that Mayor Adams had proposed, and says he's going to fund the public safety agency that he wants to start that substitutes social workers for police, and he's going to spend $200 million doing that. By
the way, Andrew, I think that was the most dangerous proposal of them all. This whole idea that private citizens would, work there, and when there's an issue, they'll go in and talk to the people. In other words, they'll break up street fights and that kind of thing. That is not going to happen.
Well, and also social workers reaching out to homeless people. As you know, I've worked on the homeless issue all my life, started in my 20s.
Absolutely.
And at HUD Secretary, I funded programs in states all across the country and went with programs where social workers did outreach to mentally ill homeless on the subways. and the streets. It's dangerous. This is not a situation where social workers are going to walk up and say, come, let me give you comfort and come with me. It is a dangerous situation. And the person is mentally ill. I've seen homeless people erupt, with a knife. And it's frightening. It was this political slogans, bumper sticker, sounds good. And I don't even think, frankly, he knew any better. He really didn't. He didn't have the experience and the wisdom. Yeah.
And Andrew, if we could agree on what is law enforcement and then what is, let's say, political. So, per se, some people just don't like the police. They don't like the way they operate and that kind of thing. Well, that's a political point of view that they have. But I think we all know that we're in the best position we can possibly be when the police department is allowed to run itself, and no one's looking over the shoulder at them. And I hate to say it, but that poor officer, I mean, he was trying to stop crime when the incident happened. And at the sentencing, I can't believe that the prosecutor said, I hope the police will learn from this situation. What do you learn from having to make a decision in 1 second? And I wish the prosecutor who said that had taken more seconds to think about what he said, because it was the most divisive thing that you could have heard at a time like this.
Oh, look, David, the extreme left has these slogans that rallies their base. They're anti-police, anti-corporation, anti-business, anti-rich, and they mobilize people that way. But you can't govern that way. You can't unite that way. You can't generate jobs that way. And the slogans that worked for him in the campaign are going to sink him as an effective mayor of New York. I believe it.
Andrew, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
on your show. How long do you think things will hold together before we start to see the depreciation of services, of activities, of crime prevention, and inevitably a city that is rudderless?
The negative synergy, people move out, tax revenue moves out, the rich move out, who pay, as you know, like 95% of the taxes. The city has less revenue, and the services fall. I think that has started already, and I'm sad to say that. And then it feeds on itself. But I think that's where we are. Look, you feel it. We'll end where you started us. You feel it on the street.
Exactly.
You feel it on the street. You just sense it as a New Yorker. Things are getting worse. Gov, thanks for being with us. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
I think you have awakened a population that didn't know what to do after, Saturday, Sunday afternoon. You're very dynamic on this show, and anytime you need me, just give me a ring.
Thank you, brother. Good to talk to you.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye. We'll take a break. Coming back, real experts on Iran. Don't go away.